what are some roadblocks that you find that prevent people from adding value? And I can relate that to, I mean, the 5 elements of my model are personal value, which is that how somebody functions and their strengths. I mean, tangible value, the measurable effect, that emotional value, service value, relationship value. And that's the kind of 5. So that's the way I relate to it. But what do you think are some of the roadblocks for people in terms of adding value?
You know, I think sometimes any sort of behavioral change, because it is really about a change in behavior or a change in process or a change in thinking, it requires a number of steps before we believe we can even do it. So we have to have that belief. And so you sort of come into some of those areas of psychology and theory here, where, so you might use the theory of planned behavior or something like that, where you're looking at attitudinal belief. Do I believe that this is important to do? Is it important to me to do that? If it's not, someone's not going to do it, are they? The second level is often about the social norms. Do my friends, do my peers, do my community, do they expect me to do this? Or will I be potentially ostracized if I take a step in this direction? You know, what risk is there for me in taking this from the social norm perspective? And then the third point is often about how empowered you feel. Is there something about this particular element or thing I want to try and do that I've got no control over? It might be because of regulation or something like that. So a good example for this could be doggy bags, for example. So in the hospitality sector, I mean, I'm sure, Mark, you've experienced this as much as I have. When you go out to dine, sometimes you get something on your plate which can feed a family of 5, right? And it's just no way I am going to eat all that. I'll give it a good crack, but I won't be able to finish it. So I'll often bring a doggy bag with me on my own, or ask for one if I can. And a lot of people don't. It's quite extraordinary. In my own research, I found that out of people who left food when they went out, when I interviewed diners, about 2/3 of those who left food would have liked to been offered a doggy bag, but they weren't. They were a bit shy. They're a bit embarrassed. They're a bit awkward to ask for one. So they didn't feel empowered to do so. So the business has got a place to go to make people feel that very simple. Would you like one? Let me normalize that for you. Let me make that a social norm at the end of the dinner when they're packing things up, clearing the table. Or would you like that in a box to go?
Yeah.
Normalize it. And then it's like, oh, yes, of course. Thank you very much. But some people are quite shy to do that.
Wow. I hadn't even thought about it that way, you know, because I'm quite comfortable asking, I guess. So my filter and through my world, I look at it and I don't necessarily think about whether other people do or not. So that's fascinating.
We do see actually a difference in whether people choose to ask for a doggy bag or not, or even accept one, depending upon who they're with socially. So imagine if you're with your mates and you all have the same sort of philosophy and you're like, well, this is going to be dinner later tonight or tomorrow's leftover breakfast. Heck yes, let's all just take it all and make it a big meal. But if you're out, say, with a business guest.
I was thinking this.
Could you imagine brand new client, schmick suit, you're at this high fancy 5-star restaurant and he or she has left half of their meal and you've haven't finished everything because you know there's another 4 courses to come. Would you take it home?
I love that. That's very valid. That's exactly where the picture was going in my brain as you were talking. I was seeing that like suited up, black suit, bunch of clients. And you know what, again, me personally, I probably still will ask because I'm like, I'm cool, but I can absolutely see that.
Many people, why not?
People get shy away because of the social norms.
I do. Yeah, exactly. It's social norms. You know, this is not the norm for this client group. But sometimes those norms will never change unless they're challenged.
Well, you know, and definitely ties. I mean, that whole, for me, that concept of personal value, it is really about being brave enough to self-reflect and understand yourself better. How do I operate? Why do I do what I do? My motivation, which changes at different stages of life. My ability to do that, which is continually working on my skills and my intelligences. And then understanding what I call that everything else, which is the iceberg, my limiting beliefs, my habits that I've learned from China, and untangling and throwing some of them out. And the more I can understand and work on myself, I can become braver to then tackle those things. And by doing that, I can add value more back to my world. You're pretty much describing that, you know, it's kind of, I love the way you simplify it though, which is social norms, right? Just, you know, kind of making it more normal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.